All right, we're on the air, on the airwaves. Welcome, everybody. This is Vagabond Digital, and we are here tonight to present Ichabod's Ghost. I'm very excited for this one. This has been several months in the making. Everybody's been working very hard. Here we are. My name is Dane Forgione, the director and founder of Vagabond Repertory Theater Company. Bringing this to you this evening. We're going to get started in just a few minutes, but we're going to be introducing the lovely, lovely cast to you this evening. Let's get started with our leading lady playing Katrina Van Tassel, Miss Sabrina Lehman.
Hi.
I want to point out, I would be remiss, Sabrina wrote two very wonderful songs that we were intending to use for the show. However, due to circumstances beyond our control, we were unfortunately not able to provide the songs this evening. However, they are both excellent, excellent songs, well written, beautiful, and I hope we can record them separately very soon. So Sabrina, welcome, and how do you do?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you. Now, playing the role of Ron Bones, we have Reese Barbazoo.
Hello.
There he is. Reese, you sound very excited. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Dane.
Well, no, thank you. Thank you for being so polite. Isn't he the most politest thing you've ever heard in your life?
He very much is.
Yes. And playing the role of Ichabod Crane, he's gonna be spooky, scary. Jackson Babbles. Jackson, hello.
Hi.
How's it going, my friend?
Good. Thanks.
He's a man of few words. Oh, we have. Oh, okay. Let us move down the charts here. Playing the role of Mass Beth, the cousin of Katrina Van Tassel, is Nathan Cassoy. Nathan.
Hiya.
There
How
he
you
is. Good, good. Nathan's been in a few of our shows before, and he is a pip. He's a talent, as is everybody here. All very talented.
Yes, I would say I am quite talented, very talented, in fact.
You know something? I'm glad that you feel that way.
And he's so humble.
He's so humble.
You know, it's one of the things I'm best at, if I do say so myself.
I would, yeah. He's a pip and he's modest, isn't he? Now, next up, playing the roles of Susie, Lena, and Beth, the three friends of Katrina Van Tassel. We have Emerson Bishop, we have Shannon Ship, and we have Brooklyn Norstead. Ladies, how do you do?
Hi.
Glad to have you guys aboard.
Glad to be here.
Yes.
Me too.
Great. Moving right along, we have playing Baltus Van Tassel, the incomparable Mark Gledhill. Mark, my friend, how are you?
I'm good, Dane. Happy to be here and looking forward to having a little fun tonight.
Yes. While I post a link to somebody, let's introduce our villains this evening.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's right.
Who you calling a bum?
Yeah.
We have playing Constable Atticus, Mr. Michael Riley.
Hello.
We have playing Mordecai, the disheveled Billy Carter.
Who you call disheveled?
And we have playing Charlie, the farmhand, Mr. Adam Winkleman.
Graciously. Mr. Dane Fulgio.
That's great. That's great. I don't even know what else to say to that.
There's nothing you can say.
That's great.
Yes.
I ran over a seagull the other day.
He went caw.
Bruh.
Yeah.
But no,
Anyway,
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
now playing the younger versions of Ichabod and Katrina are the very lovely Logan Barber and Matthew Lamb.
Hi. Hi. I'm really excited to be here.
I just want to point out, Logan was in a movie that was #1 at the box office last week, a little something called The War with Grandpa. That was just very, very proud of that.
Thank you.
Ow,
And,
woo-woo.
Yay, we're Hollywood adjacent.
yeah, listen, we've got quite a few award winners here. Logan has won some awards. Sabrina, I believe you won an award for your filmmaking.
Yes.
And Nathan you're currently nominated for something, I believe, Nathan?
Yes, the Perry Award.
There we go. Isn't that something? Now I would be remiss if we did not acknowledge our lovely chorus. That is Owen Connors, Chelsea Rhodes, Katie Lehman, and Ashley Miller. They're in the house. Ladies and gentlemen,
No.
there they are. Now then, coming soon in November. We don't quite have a date yet, but we will soon. The Further Adventures of Young Sherlock Holmes and John Watson. We will be recording that, and it will be premiering on the YouTube page for Vagabond Repertory Theater Company. And Mr. Owen is playing young Watson. Very excited about that.
Hi.
And December 11th, we got some of them here already. An American Tale, the virtual reading amongst our cast. Matthew Lamb is Fievel. Shannon is in the show. Chelsea, and
Hey.
Bill, and Adam,
Hello.
Sabrina, and Owen, and Mark, and Logan, and a host of other people. I'm so very excited about that. Tonight's
I can't wait.
Tonight's show is benefiting the Rhino Theater in New Jersey. I had the distinct pleasure of seeing one of their shows recently. It was wonderful. And, New Jersey theater, like New York theater, we want to support the arts. The link to the GoFundMe, we're trying to help raise some funds for the Rhino Theater. The link to the GoFundMe is on my Facebook page, or you can message me for the information, and I will gladly give it out. Yes. So I'm very excited about this show. This has been such a treat preparing this show. We've had a long, dedicated, hardworking cast of people, and everything has been great. By the way, I would be remiss. A little bit of narration this evening, which was pre-recorded, has been done by a voice actor friend of mine. His name is Justice. And he sends his regards. He was not able to attend tonight, but he is doing some narration. Looking forward to that. Very great narration. Yes. So
Sorry, that was applause if it didn't come across.
that's lovely, dear.
Oh,
Clap, clap, clap.
Clap, clap, clap.
lovely dear.
Oh dear, that's lovely.
I don't want me freedom.
All right, everybody's getting into their places now. Getting all going this way and that way as I sit down in my narrator's chair. For besides the fact that, oh yeah, some guy named Dane Ford Jones in the cast as well. I heard he's all right.
He's a
He's
he's
an
an
okay.
all right. Yeah,
He's an okay guy.
he's pretty stand up.
More
the
than
most
all right,
part.
in my opinion.
Well, I heard he makes a mean peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's pretty,
true. I've had them.
that's crazy.
And he introduces people to New York style pizza, but we're not going to start on that.
No, I'm not gonna start on that. That's a completely different story for another day.
He gives his friends tours around Staten Island.
Well,
Good
yeah,
man.
what little there is to see. Anyway,
Traffic.
all right. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody's getting into their places.
Yes.
We are ready to go. All right, here we go. We are ready to begin. I shall start the narration. Here it comes. Ichabod's Ghost. Our story opens up with the backdrop of a lavish-looking building somewhere in the town of Sleepy Hollow. From the looks of it, we can tell someone of great wealth lives there. Soon, we see a hustle and bustle of people milling about back and forth, pantomiming greetings to one another as they do. As this goes on, a well-dressed older gentleman comes walking out onto the stage from the house. This is Waltus Van Tassel. He is a respected man in the community, not to mention wealthy. He is greeted by several people as they pass him.
Good morrow, Baltus.
Good morrow, ma'am.
Mr. Van Tassel, good morrow.
Good morrow. Good morrow.
Slowly, Baltus checks his pocket watch briefly, then lets out a whistle, trying to get the attention of someone off stage.
Charlie! Charlie! Come here now, would you?
Sir,
You know your instructions for today?
sir, clean out the stables and feed the horses and the chickens.
Indeed. And where's my daughter, Katrina?
I'll due out any minute by my guess. The maids were helping her get dressed last I checked.
Very good. And Charlie, no drinking today, eh? I caught you passed out drunk in the pig pen a few days ago. If you must imbibe, do it after you're dismissed for the day, in your own time.
Of course, sir. Of course. Though, truth be told, that pig pen was mighty comfy of me.
Meanwhile, a dirty, sinister-looking, shady man stalks around the stage. This is Mordecai. He seems to be looking for someone to rob, judging by his shifting hands and eyes. He soon spots a target and, with a devious smile, walks over to the man and accidentally bumps into him.
Pardon me, sir.
Quite all right. Slowly, Mordecai watches the man go, then, with an evil grin, he holds up a wallet, presumably lifted from the man he bumped into, and pulls out a wad of bills from it, then pockets them.
Ah, like taking candy from an infant.
As this occurs, a man dressed up like a policeman of the time, Constable Atticus, strolls on. He watches Mordecai, clucks his tongue in disgust, then walks over to him, poking him with his baton.
Mordecai Barrows. I ought to lock you in irons and toss you in a jail cell, thieving rat that you are.
Oh, have a heart, Gov. I'm only still when I need money to buy myself a few drinks and some food. Perhaps this could persuade you to look the other way.
He holds up a bill to Atticus.
Bribery, eh? And what have I told you about trying to do that, me mate?
Give you a lot more than just one bill.
That's more like it. Now get out of my sight.
Much obliged, Gov.
Meanwhile, from out of the Van Tassel residence, out strolls Katrina Van Tassel. She is demure and very pretty. It's quite obvious she has the eye of every boy in town, as two boys walk by her, then stop to admire.
Good day, Katrina.
To you as well.
She spoke to you? The most beautiful girl in the whole town spoke to you? You lucky duck. I know.
Meanwhile, a rather unkempt man shambles onto the stage. He holds his hand out, presumably for money, to several passers-by. Some who ignore him, some who give him a few coins. This is Mad George, the village idiot. Spare coins for George? Mr. Mrs. Spare coins? George wants to buy a meal. A man hands George 2 coins. Ah, thank you, Mr. Sir.
Good morrow, George, my dear.
Huh? Oh, hello, pretty lady. What's pretty lady doing today? Pretty lady looks nice in her dress.
Oh, George, thank you. You're so very kind. I'm going to go and see the girls. Susie, Lena, and Beth. You know them, yes? My girlfriends?
Oh, yes. George knows pretty lady's nice friends. George sees them all the time. Nice girls they are.
George, here. Go and have a nice breakfast and drink. Now, don't tell my father I gave that to you. It'll be our secret, okay? And remember, if any of Constable Atticus's men talk mean to you or hassle you, you can come to me and the girls. We'll sort things right out.
Oh, pretty lady is so kind to George. George loves her to pieces, he does. You go have fun today, but be careful, pretty lady. You and the other nice girls. Don't get in trouble. George means it.
I won't, George, darling, I promise.
She finally blows him a kiss and giggles one last time as George happily shambles off. Meanwhile, Katrina goes up to Balthus.
Good morrow, father dearest.
Good morrow, dear. And what are you going to be doing this fine day?
Well, sir, I plan to go with Lena, Susie, and Beth to the center of town. There's some poetry reading today that I simply must hear. Men and women from all corners are coming to recite their poetry.
Quite interesting. I wasn't aware of such an event.
With your permission, sir, may I go with the girls? Please? I shan't be gone long, just enough to hear some of the poets.
By all means, my love. Go with the girls. Enjoy. Try not to be gone the whole day, though.
Thank you, father. I shall. Ta-ta!
Ta-ta, dear.
Balthus goes back to his work as slowly, Mordecai, sensing a payday, strolls up to Balthus for a moment, then clears his throat and speaks.
Tisk, tisk, kisk. Hey, Governor, your precious daughter's playing you for a fool.
You have something to say?
That young lady is certainly not going to a poetry gathering. Ain't none to be had around. Here, now, sir, she has other intentions.
Stop speaking in riddles, man. Get to the point.
Well, Gov, I happen to have a piece of information to give you that I think you'd like to know. But, I'm afraid I've plumb forgotten what it was.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
He takes out a wad of paper money and hands Mordecai a few of the bills.
There. Now talk. Though why I should even be speaking with a known criminal like you, Mordecai Barrows, is beyond me.
Gov, I have it on good authority that your saintly daughter has been cavorting around with young Ichabod Crane alone, with no one watching over the two of them.
Crane? The commoner? That low-class boy who does odd jobs around this town to support his deadbeat drunken father and mousy mother? That Crane?
The very same. In fact, just the other day, right under your nose, I spotted them two kissing up a storm something fierce right underneath the shade of the old oak tree down yonder.
That disgusting, wretched commoner was kissing my daughter? How dare he? How dare he take advantage of her? This has to stop. Charlie, come here. And then Constable, you as well.
What seems to be the problem, sir?
It's Ichabod Crane. He's consorting with my precious Katrina, and I want it stopped at once. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Go and find my daughter, wherever she may be, and escort her back here. If she's with that Crane boy, put the fear of God into him. Make sure his lips never touch her lips again.
Aye, sir. We'll do it right now. Come on, lads.
Wait a moment. It could be a bit tricky, 3 grown men such as yourselves seen escorting a young lady home. Despite the reasons why, perhaps if one of her contemporaries was with you?
An excellent idea, sir. Ah, I have it. Why not that Brom boy? Is he not the same age as Katrina and Crane?
I believe he is. Brom Bones, come over here, boy. Your services are needed.
Slowly, Brom Bones comes walking on stage, a young, strong, good-looking boy. He bows to Balthus out of respect.
Good day, Mr. Van Tassel, sir.
How old are you, Brom lad?
Me? I'm 13, sir. Why do you ask?
The same as Katrina. He'll do. Brom, I have a job for you. I'll compensate you for taking the time to do it as well. I want you to go with Charlie, Constable Atticus, and Mordecai here, and find Ichabod Crane and my young daughter Katrina. They're off together. And, Katrina should be studying in her books right now. Crane's keeping it from her.
Katrina's with Ichabod? Huh. I've heard mention from Katrina's girlfriends that her and Ichabod have met in secret without a chaperone, but I thought it was just rumor.
All the more why there should be kept apart. No decent young girl should lie. Eh, boy?
I suppose not, sir.
All right. Come on, lads. Let's go find ourselves a Crane. Off we go.
I must confess, I thought I'd never see the day I'd be forming a posse with a low-life thief such as you, Mr. Mordecai.
Bill, I could say the same about you, Constable.
Constable, sir, what would you want me to do? I'm kind of being dragged into this.
Just be our lookout, boy, that's all. And if Miss Van Tassel is with Crane, you will escort her back to her father's house.
That ought to be simple for you, eh, boy? You like the Tassel girl, too, from what I recall.
Well, sure I do.
All the more easier, then. Never fear, Brom. Master Van Tassel likes you. So if you want to court Katrina after we take care of the Crane boy, well, be our guest.
Don't get your dander up, boy. That a whelp like Crane stole your beautiful Miss Van Tassel away from you.
I never really think about it, honestly. I do think Katrina is very pretty, but Ichabod won her heart. What's fair is fair.
Pah! Fair play, eh? How I hate such drivel.
The lights slowly dim, then come back on to Katrina standing alone on stage. She excitedly is waiting for someone to join her. Soon, we hear the giggles and chattering of girls' voices off stage.
Katrina? Katrina, there you are! Lena, Susie, I found her!
Girls, I can't talk long. We need to keep this brief. What's the matter?
Katrina, is it true? Are you rendezvousing with Ichabod Crane? Not just today, but times before today?
And you two have kissed on more than one instance without your father's knowledge?
Yes, and yes.
That's wonderful. So daring and romantic. It's like Romeo and Juliet.
Gosh, Ichabod Crane is the most handsome boy I've ever met.
Doesn't matter that he's not upper class. He's so kind and sweet and wonderful. That's what counts. Oh, Katrina, you're so lucky. If only we could meet a boy as great as Ichabod.
There he is now. I recognize that whistling anywhere. Go on, girls. Go back home. We'll all talk later.
You'll tell us every detail.
Every detail.
Oh, I can't wait. Don't leave out a single thing now.
Come, girls, let's give them their privacy.
With pleasure. Have fun, you two. And behave yourselves.
Oh, hush you. Go on, go.
With that, the three girls hurry off, leaving Katrina by herself. She smiles and gently primps her hair a bit, then smooths out her dress, humming happily to herself, as Ichabod Crane slowly comes on stage, all smiles. He is not as broad or strong as Brom Bones, but he's still a fairly decent boy next door type. He approaches Katrina with a shy smile.
Good morrow, Katrina.
Ichabod, you've come. I'm so glad to see you.
As I am to see you.
He hands her a small pink rose.
I've come a courting. For you, milady.
How very sweet. Thank you, Ichabod dear.
She places it in her hair carefully.
I have one more surprise. Close your eyes, though.
Oh my, I love surprises.
Now, no peeking.
Promise.
Slowly, Ichabod pulls out a necklace from his pocket and puts it around her neck. She slowly flutters open her eyes and looks down at the necklace. She gasps at the beauty of it.
My word, Ichabod, it's beautiful.
For a beautiful girl.
Oh, Ichabod, I shall treasure this always. This must have cost a fortune. Oh dear. You didn't lift this off anyone, did you? I could never accept a stolen gift, no matter the beauty.
I did no such thing. I may not have your family's money, but I am no thief. I would never want to subject you to such embarrassment by giving you a stolen piece of jewelry. I care too much about you. So I pooled together my wages for doing odd jobs and purchased it. Here, the paper that shows it.
He pulls out a slip of paper and holds it up to Katrina. She looks at it, reads through it quickly, and she sheepishly smiles.
I'm such a fool. It's all there in black and white. I didn't mean to disbelieve you. Forgive me, my love. Ichabod, what made you want to buy this for me?
Well, I was hoping, perhaps, one day we could promise to be married to one another. Someday.
And why would you want to marry little old me?
Well, so that I could call you my wife. And so I could kiss you anytime I want. You wouldn't have to do it in secret anymore.
Oh, really? Well, this might come as a bit of a surprise to you, but I don't mind a bit of sneaking around.
With that, the two lean in and kiss one another. It's not a deep, passionate one by any means, more a gentle, innocent love type. As this happens, Atticus, Charlie and Mordecai come walking onto the stage, all with evil smiles on their faces. Brom wanders in not too far behind, looking a bit confused and nervous.
What's this? What's this?
Constable Atticus! What are you doing here?
Well, isn't this a pretty picture, eh, gents? That nasty little crane boy kissing Baltus Van Tassel's daughter. The disgusting wart. Katrina, dear, did he hurt you?
Certainly not. Leave us be. This is a private moment.
Not no more, it ain't. Brom, come here. Escort Katrina home, will you, lad? Us men need to discuss something with Mr. Young Crane here.
No! You're going to hurt him. I know you are. Leave him alone.
Miss Van Tassel, it would behoove you right now to go on home with Brom.
I won't. I won't do it.
Get going before I throw you into the pond.
Oh! You horrible, filthy beast.
Come on, Katrina. I'm sure they're just going to talk is all.
Take your hands off me.
Leave us alone. We've done nothing wrong. There's no shame in an innocent kiss between two consenting young people who love one another.
Ah, love. You youngsters don't know what love is. No, I see it more like lust. A common little rat like you, Crane, targeting an innocent flower like Miss Van Tassel.
Tisk, tisk, shame, shame.
That's not true and you know it. Take it back.
Oh, trying to step towards me, eh? Suddenly you're a man now, huh?
Well, Mr. Atticus, sir, calm down. Ichabod, just go home. You could always just ask Mr. Van Tassel for permission to court Katrina. I'm sure if you presented it correctly.
Mind your business and do the job you were told to do, boy.
Huh. We're trying to be nice, Crane. But if our words don't penetrate that brain of yours, we might need to use other methods.
No!
Let me go. Let me go.
He tries to pry himself loose from Charlie's grip, and in the confusion, he accidentally punches Atticus in the nose.
Aha! He struck first. You all see it? I may be a thief, but I'd never strike a constable so brazenly.
It was an accident. Gov, I swear on it.
We have to go.
I won't leave Ichabod behind.
Katrina, please do as I ask. In a moment, it's not going to be safe here.
You're going to pay for this, me lad.
He grabs at Ichabod, who grabs back, and a scuffle ensues. Katrina screams as Brom pulls her away from the fray to safety. Charlie joins in the ruckus, followed by Mordecai. Soon, the three men are raining blows down on Ichabod, who gamely does his best to fight back.
Constable, please, that's enough. He gets it. Stop, lay off of him. He's not an adult like you three. He's a kid like me and Katrina.
Quiet! Keep watch for passers-by, you little fool.
Brom tries to vainly pull the men off of Ichabod, but Mordecai backhands him, knocking Brom to the ground. Brom is dazed as Ichabod staggers away from the men, now bleeding from the nose and mouth. Katrina is petrified.
Ichabod, run! Run!
Mordecai spies a nearby scarecrow's mask, grabs it, and puts it over Ichabod's head.
There, so we don't get any of your blood on us. Nice and neat.
Stop. Stop, please. I beg of you.
If you hadn't talked back to us, this wouldn't be happening, boy.
Ichabod, even with a mask covering him and beaten, is still trying his best to fight back. He crawls near Katrina, who races to him.
Oh, God! Please! Please, I beg of you three. Let him go. Let him just run.
A small knife has dropped out of Ichabod's pocket.
What do we have here, then?
A knife, eh? No doubt he intended to hurt you with this, Miss Katrina.
That's a lie. He uses that to whittle wood. He would never hurt me.
A likely story.
Ichabod wearily gets to his feet and makes a grab for the knife.
Oh, he's tried to use it on me. He's stark raving mad. Watch yourselves, lads.
The three men and Ichabod continue to struggle for the knife as Brom groans and comes to, sitting up in a daze. He spots a hysterical crying Katrina, then turns to the men.
What?
Mordecai wrenches the knife from Ichabod and stabs him in the stomach.
What are you doing?
No!
Ichabod lets out a moan and his legs turn to jelly as he collapses to his knees. Mordecai, almost as if getting sick pleasure, jabs at Ichabod twice more without even Atticus and Charlie seeing. Ichabod finally lets out a gurgle and collapses to his side. He twitches for a few seconds and then is still.
Is he
cold as stone?
Ichabod! Oh, my love! My sweet love! Murderers! Murderers, the lot of you! He was a boy, and you've killed him!
Take his body, dump it somewhere where the wolves can get it. If anyone asks, he was harming Miss Van Tassel and he pulled that knife on us.
This wasn't the plan that Mr. Van Tassel said. He said just to scare him, not kill him.
You should kill him too. He's a witness.
No. That'll arouse suspicion, especially from his parents. Boy, take her home to her father and don't say one word of what you saw.
Yes, sir. Come, Katrina. Let's get you home.
Get away from me. All of you. I'm going to my father. I'm going to tell him what murderers you are. I'll make sure you all hang for this.
Katrina!
Let the little hen go. Come on, make yourself useful and help us carry him to where the wolves go.
Not a chance. I'm not going to be an accessory. I would never have come here if I knew you were going to murder.
Then I suggest you leave before we change our minds about you being allowed to live. And don't think I was joking about not saying a word. I'm the constable here, remember? No one will believe you and Katrina over me. And I'm not about to lose my station because of you. I'm very good at ruining lives, and if you think that's an idle threat, just try me, boy.
Do you think this is a game? Go! Go!
Brom, quaking with fear, runs away. Meanwhile, Atticus turns to Charlie and Mordecai.
Don't just stand there gaping. Let's dispose of him and get our story straight.
With that, the three men grab Ichabod's limp body and carry him off stage as we transition back to town. Baltus is speaking with two men in pantomime as, suddenly, a sobbing Katrina rushes on stage.
Father! Father, help!
Katrina, what on earth is this? Shh, darling. I'm here. My goodness, you're trembling. What happened?
Oh, Father, it was awful. It...
Katrina, please.
Brom, what's the meaning of this? Do you have something to do with my daughter's current state?
No, sir. It was Constable Atticus. He and Charlie and the thief Mordecai, they...
We barely escaped with our and Katrina's lives is what it was.
Slowly, Atticus, Mordecai, and Charlie shuffle on, all three with their best poker faces. Katrina points a shaky finger at them.
There they are. The horrid, filthy, disgusting pigs. The murderers.
Murderers?
Father, they killed Ichabod. My sweet dear Ichabod.
Killed Ichabod Crane? Would you mind explaining, Constable?
Oh, sir, it was madness, pure madness. That Crane boy, when we came upon them, he was on top of poor innocent Katrina. He was attempting to rip off her dress. Lord knows what would have happened had we been a few moments late.
Oh, who knew a boy so young could be driven by such evil intentions?
It's lucky Miss Van Tassel only has a few bruises and rips to her dress.
Lies. All lies. Ichabod was attacked by them. They beat him and stabbed him.
We concede we did beat and stab, but it was in self-defense, Gov. Self-defense. And defense of this poor, delicate creature here.
Father, don't tell me you believe these beasts over me. Your own daughter. I would never lie to you.
That's already been proven to be untrue. Young lady, we know you snuck off to be with that monstrous boy. You lied to your father about your whereabouts, and it nearly cost you your life. You're lucky we stopped Crane when we did.
He's right, Katrina. My dear, sweet child. If anything had happened to you today, I'm surely died of a broken heart. Instead of accusing these men of murder, you should thank all three of them. Constable, Charlie, Mordecai, I shall see to it you are rewarded for your brave actions today.
Brave? Ha! Brave nothing. They're just murderous dogs. Animals. They should be hung, not rewarded.
Brom, you speak to Mr. Van Tassel. You were there. Tell him how crazed Crane was. Tell him how we saved Katrina.
Yes, boy. Tell them.
Brom nervously stammers and gulps as Katrina, now in almost deadly calm, looks pleadingly into Brom's eyes.
Brom, if you care even a small bit about me, like you claim, you'll tell the truth. Brom, please, I beg of you, tell my father the truth.
Brom slowly looks to Atticus, who does throat slash gesture to him, hidden by Charlie. Mordecai slowly walks over and pats Brom on the shoulder.
Don't let a hysterical girl bewitch you, boy. Tell them what you saw. Remember, I can kill you and make it look like an accident. You'd better choose your words wisely, boy.
Katrina gives Brom one last pleading look. Silence. Then Brom guiltily lowers his head and mutters.
Mr. Van Tassel, I saw Ichabod try and attack them, but they were trying to save her from him. He wasn't in his right frame of mind. I'm sorry, Katrina, but fair is fair.
Well, this settles it. I'm sorry, Katrina, my love, but 4 pairs of eyes saw the same thing. And young Brom is trustworthy. I know you love that Crane boy, despite my disgust for it. But you must understand, he was obviously very troubled and disturbed.
Oh, I understand. You're all just going to stand there smugly while you get away with the murder of the kindest, sweetest, most wonderful boy I ever knew. Well, know this. I shall never rest until the truth is known, and you all go to jail for this. And as for you, Brom Bones, I shall never, ever forgive you for this betrayal. Do you hear me? Never. If we both live to be 100, I still won't.
She storms off stage.
Katrina.
Leave it, boy. You did the right thing. She won't stay mad at you forever. I think she'll realize that you and the other men did what needed to be done.
A pause. Baltus looks to the 3 men, as well as a few onlookers who have stopped on stage, and he waves them off.
Come on now. Don't just all stand there with your jaws hanging loose at me. Get back to your affairs. Constable, is Crane's body still out there?
Well, the wolf surely got to him by now, sir. If there's anything left of him, it certainly won't be what you'd call complete.
I see. I see. Well, I must tell you, while I'm not pleased at the way it was done, at least Katrina can now find an actual fine young lad to court with, rather than some common street trash.
The men nod and begin to walk off. Brahm is left on stage alone, wallowing in guilt and misery. He sighs and shuffles off as the lights go out. A narration is heard as we do a scene transition.
As the days pass from this unfortunate incident, as the initial shock wore off of what people thought at the time was the justified killing of Ichabod Crane, things began to settle down. The Crane family packed up and left, seemingly overnight, never to be seen again. Constable Atticus, Mordecai, and Charlie made a pact, never to speak of the incident again, and to always stick to the same story that they were forced to kill Ichabod to protect Katrina. And as for young Miss Katrina, she went into mourning for her lost love, and though eventually her grief and her time locking herself in her bedroom and crying herself to sleep passed, she never fully was able to get over the events. For a year, she harbored a hatred of Brom Bones, not just his betrayal, but because he had done nothing to stop the events.
The lights slowly come up on stage. It is the Van Tassel residence again. Slowly, Katrina steps on stage, her usual warm smile replaced by a sadly serious look. Boys from the beginning of the play walk past her slowly.
Good morrow, Katrina.
Good morrow.
Gosh, poor Katrina. It's been a year since Ichabod Crane died. I don't think she'll ever get over it. I don't blame her. The anniversary is almost here. Poor, poor Katrina.
Meanwhile, Lena, Susie, and Beth walk onto the stage. They spot Katrina and approach her sympathetically.
Katrina?
Good morrow, girls.
She surely knows what today is. I knew it.
Katrina, darling, remember, we're here for you. Anything you need. Yes, Katrina, don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you, girls. It's been a year, but it still feels like yesterday.
We understand.
I think of him every single day.
As do we all.
We were going to marry, grow old together, have children. We were supposed to be happily ever after.
Oh, Katrina, lovey. You've cried so many tears for him. Please don't torture yourself.
I know. I tell myself that tears won't bring him back, but it doesn't ease the pain any less.
Oh.
The girls begin to hug Katrina in a comforting way. Meanwhile, a well-dressed young boy comes skipping onto the stage and towards Katrina and the girls. It is Mazbeth, Katrina's cousin. He skids to a stop before Katrina and tips his hat and bows to her.
Cousin Katrina.
Why, sweet dear cousin Mazbeth, I didn't know you were coming to visit. Hello, darling. Oh, let me take a look at you. My goodness, you get more handsome every time I see you.
Not as much as you get prettier every time I see you. Ladies, good morrow.
What an adorably wonderful little thing you are.
It's always great to have such a gentleman around here.
Now, Katrina, where have you been hiding this handsome little devil from us,
He lives upstate with my aunt and uncle. Speaking of which, are they here with you, Mazbeth? Aunt Gertrude and Uncle Niles?
Alas, no. Mother and father had to go out of state on business. Father wants to buy some property that a farmer wants to sell him, but he and mother wanted to go visit it beforehand. Catch upon liking, I think father said. So I'm staying with you and Uncle Baltus for a few weeks.
Well, that certainly is fabulous news.
Hey, is Rum Bones around? I wanted to see him. It's been so long since we've played some games together. We have a lot of catching up to do.
Silence. The girls all cringe at the mention of Brom Bones as Katrina's face darkens.
What's the matter, Cousin Katrina? Did I say something I oughtn't?
Never you mind Brom Bones, Mesbeth. He's not on your cousin's good side. Nor our good side, for that matter.
It would behoove you to stay away from that horrid beast.
Indeed, we don't need someone as sweet as you being poisoned by that overgrown ape.
I don't understand.
I'll explain it to you another time, Masbeth.
Masbeth, come along, lad. We're ready to set up your room to use while you're staying here.
Coming, sir! Promise you'll explain why.
Promise.
Okay, I shall see you later then. Cousin, ladies, adieu.
Oh my word, he is so adorable. I just can't stand it, Katrina. He's going to be a heartbreaker when he's a few years older.
So I've heard my aunt say.
Suddenly, Brom Bones appears on stage. He spots the girls and slowly walks towards them. As one, they all abruptly turn away from him in disgust.
Here he comes.
Why doesn't he just leave us be?
Katrina, shall we alert someone to send him away from us? Your father, or Mr. Charlie, or Consul Atticus?
Let us be the bigger people, girls. Let's not stoop to his horrid level.
Good morning, Katrina. Katrina?
Beth, Susie, and Lena, as one, stand in front of Katrina and all give Brom an icy cold stare.
Good morrow, ladies. May I speak with Katrina alone, please? Katrina? Katrina, please talk to me. Say something.
Go away, you wretched boy!
Don't think we've forgotten what today's date marks. It might have been a year ago, but we all remember it very well. You let a good, sweet, kind-hearted person die. Shame on you. Shame on you.
How can you live with yourself, Brombone? How can you even stand to look at yourself in the mirror? Well,
Girls, don't get yourselves worked up. I can handle myself. Excuse me a moment. Mr. Bones, good morrow.
Mr. Bones is my father. Katrina, come on. It's me, Brom. We've known one another for as long as I can remember.
I know who you are.
Katrina, I know you're still upset at me over what happened, and I sympathize with you. I truly do. Ichabod was a good friend of mine too. I never had a bad thing to say about him. But it's been a year now. He's gone.
Because of you.
Me? But I didn't hurt him. I didn't even know what was going on until those maniacs attacked him. I've said it before. I'll say it again. They all told me they were just trying to scare him away from you. They never said anything about hurting him or killing him. Katrina, please.
You could have stepped in and stopped it, though. Admit it. You were jealous that I chose him over you, weren't you?
Absolutely not. I admit I have strong feelings for you, Katrina, but I would never set out to hurt Ichabod.
Good day, Mr. Bones. I shan't keep you a moment longer. Come along, girls.
Oh, Katrina, you're so very beautiful, but blast it all, you're so stubborn too.
He sighs longingly as Masbeth comes back out on stage. He spots Brom and cautiously walks over to him.
Hi, Brom.
Hey, Masbeth. How are you, little man? Give us a shake then.
He and Masbeth shake hands.
Ha! Your grip is getting stronger, kiddo. You'll be lifting more weight than me in no time.
No fooling?
No fooling. So, when did you get into town?
Just today. I'm staying for a few weeks with my Uncle Baltus and Cousin Katrina.
Oh, yes, your cousin.
Brom, what happened between you and my cousin? She's none too happy with you.
That's an understatement.
In fact, her and her girlfriends told me to stay away from you.
Oh, did they? Those clucking little hens.
Brom, will you tell me what happened? Please?
It's a long story.
Won't tell me anything? I'm not a baby anymore. I can handle it.
This conversation does not leave the two of us. Deal?
Deal.
Okay. Well, it started last year with Katrina and Ichabod Crane. You remember him, right?
Sure I do. He and Katrina have eyes for each other. He's not rich like Uncle Baltus, but he's a nice fellow. To me, anyways.
Well, the thing is, he's gone, Masbeth.
He's gone? Oh, you mean his family moved away?
No, Masbeth. Gone as in gone. He's passed away.
He died?
Masbeth, almost as a reflex, removes his cap and puts it to his chest.
Oh, gee, that's terrible. He was only your age, wasn't he? What happened?
Well, it was that blasted He just ran into an unfortunate situation. That's all.
Oh.
That's all I can really say about the matter. Remember, you didn't hear this from me. If that cousin of yours explains it, you need to act surprised.
Oh, I can do that. Watch.
A thief.
See?
I do.
You really like her, don't you?
I do.
She's definitely a beauty, that's for sure. I know she's my cousin, so I might be biased, but I always thought of her to be very pretty.
She's an angel, Masbeth, 100%. It's just a shame that she sees me as nothing more than a lout.
In the meantime, Constable Atticus strolls onto the stage. He spots Masbeth and Brom and taps his stick at their legs.
You have working legs, yes?
Yes, sir.
Well, go on about your business. Anytime you two are together, trouble brews. Beat it.
Bloody rude.
Masbeth walks off.
Not you.
He pulls Brom closer.
We need to have a little chit-chat. I believe you know what today's date is, yes?
Yes, I know quite well.
Well, just in case, today means it's been a year since that Crane boy left this here plane.
By your hand, and Mordecai's, and Charlie's.
Shut up! Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you find scaring people to be amusing?
I'm sorry?
I think you know.
Have you asked him yet, Constable?
What in blazes are you getting at?
There's been some rather interesting sightings around here these last few days, months even. Seems to me the people here are convinced that Ichabod Crane has been seen spooking around.
Spooking around?
Appearing as a ghost.
All over town, it seems. We've got several people who have told the good constable here that they've seen Ichabod Crane.
You're lying.
Mordecai flicks out a switchblade and holds it near Brom's neck.
Does this look like a lie to you?
Get away!
Leave it, Mordecai. Don't think we don't know what you're doing, Bones.
It ain't funny, and it ain't clever.
What exactly am I doing, pray tell?
Dressing up like Crane did. that scarecrow mask, his clothes, and spooking around, trying to drive us mad with guilt. Get us to confess, perhaps.
Exactly.
I've done no such thing. I wish to God I could get you three jackals to confess, but I'd certainly do it in a smarter way than dressing up as Ichabod Crane. What would stop someone from unmasking me?
Meanwhile, some townspeople begin to mill on stage.
I guess you have all of them scared, but not me, or Constable, or Charlie. We know your game, boy.
What's going on, Constable?
Never you mind, just move along.
He's talking about Ichabod Crane.
Oh, no. Gracious. Oh, my gosh.
Enough. All of you go about your business.
He's been spotted all over town. Did you all know that?
Blasted restless spirit he is.
Really?
Really?
Oh, now this is pure nonsense.
Oh, you think so, eh? Well, I saw him a few weeks ago. I heard a noise in my chicken coop, and when I walked over to investigate, I saw that Crane boy. He was standing near the chickens. He turned and looked at me with that ghastly scarecrow mask on. I went to go get my shotgun, but he was gone by the time I got back.
That's nothing. I was out hanging my children's clothes, and I suddenly heard my dog howling at something past my gate. I went to look, and I saw that horrid Crane ghost staring at me. He pointed his finger straight at me. Well, I screamed bloody murder. My farmhands came rushing over, but Crane was gone before I could point him out.
Oh, God.
Very scary, threatening ghost.
I saw him. Honest, I did. I was out playing with my dog Wilbur, and I threw the ball to him to fetch. But he came back whimpering and crying. When I went to go grab the ball, Ichabod Crane had it. He pointed at me, and then he said something real spooky.
What did he say, lad?
Yes, what did this ghost say?
He said, make them tell the truth. Let them know what really happened to me.
Charlie's face turns pale as he takes a swig of a flask nervously. Atticus gives Brom a death glare as he pokes him in the ribs with his stick. Brom winces and shakes his head in a "it wasn't me" way. Meanwhile, Baltus, Maspeth, Katrina, and the girls have made their way back on stage.
I'm sure there's a logical explanation for all of this.
We're not all crazy, Constable.
Yeah, I wouldn't lie. Honest. I wouldn't. My parents always taught me to tell the truth. I always listen to them.
I certainly don't gain anything from lying. I've no reason to.
Oh, it's a ghost. How dreadful.
Oh, my word.
You arrest a ghost? Shoo.
What are you all standing around for? What's the matter?
Oh, Baltus, you've not heard? It's Ichabod Crane. His ghost. He's been spotted all over town.
But Uncle Baltus, I thought Ichabod Crane was gone.
He is gone. Constable Atticus's men found his body in the woods. It had a scarecrow mask covering his face, and that whittling knife clutched in his hand, just as the constable said. Some wild animals got at him when he was found, but it was him all right. My friends, I think perhaps some youngsters might be playing a prank on all of us.
Indeed, and I think it would benefit that youngster, whomever it may be, to admit to his tricks and stop them.
Katrina catches sight of Atticus, who is glaring at Brom, and she stares an angry hole through Brom as well, who, without words, pleads his case to her. She turns away with silent disgust, as do the other girls.
Just say this, I don't care how old you are. If I catch the little troublemaker who's doing this, I will slap them around, but good. Then maybe you'll think twice before dressing up as a ghost.
And I'll certainly allow that slapping to happen.
I'm going to say this once, and only once. Brom Bones, if it's you behind this, I shall despise you even more than I already do. I don't find any of it funny. In fact, it's despicable.
I've had just about enough of being accused of this. Bad enough that Constable is doing it. I don't need it from you, too.
He storms off.
Let's just leave it at that, friends. All of you go on. Go back to your day.
The townspeople mutter and begin to trickle off bit by bit.
Well, I suppose that ends the excitement. What shall we do now? Come, girls. Why don't we take a walk along the garden path? The flowers are in full bloom. Mazbeth, would you be so kind to escort us ladies?
It would be my pleasure, milady, especially with someone as beautiful as you on my arm.
I'm telling you, a heartbreaker. An absolute heartbreaker.
I'll say his. You charming little dear.
Now you behave yourself, Mazbeth. Come on, everyone.
The kids go off as, meanwhile, Charlie, his hands shaking, drinks a bit from his flask as Atticus and Mordecai come up to him.
I can't hold on much longer, lads. I can't live like this forever.
Steady, Charlie. Don't sell us out now. We've gotten this far already.
Charlie, I respect Mr. Van Tassel immensely. Known him and his late wife and lovely daughter for many a years. But so help me, if you crack, if you sell us out, I shall make sure you take the brunt of the punishment.
I ain't, but you heard what was said. Let the truth be known.
Oh, if you ask me, that Brom Bones lady is behind this. He's the one trying to scare a confession out of us.
Both of you keep your eyes peeled for him. If you see Ichabod Crane, just grab him and pull his mask off. If it's Bones, we'll fix him but good. Of course, making sure to make it look like he was the aggressor. Agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Well, if you'll excuse me, gents, I have better things to do than worry about some ghost. I think lining my pockets with fresh wallets, if you'll excuse me.
Remember my cut, Mordecai.
Atticus and Mordecai go off. Charlie, meanwhile, sighs and begins to head off, though soon we hear an almost unearthly laughing sound, followed by familiar whistling, similar to Ichabod's.
Who's that?
Oh, Mr. Charlie.
Blasted Brom Bones. Get out here, lad. Face me like a man.
Mr. Charlie, tell them the truth.
Oh, bloody hell. I need a stronger drink.
Brief blackout. Soon the lights fade back up and the stage is set up outside of what we can assume is a pub. It is later on in the evening, and some talking and clinking of glasses are heard on stage as, slowly, Mazbeth comes walking onto the stage.
Well, this is the pub Uncle Baltus said Mr. Charlie goes to all the time. Oh, there he is, half asleep at the bar. I sure am glad I found him. Mr. Charlie! Mr. Charlie, yoo-hoo!
What is it, boy? Can a man enjoy a drink in peace?
I'm sorry, Mr. Charlie, but Uncle Baltus wants you back at the house. He said you didn't feed the horses today, and he's awful mad at you.
Bloody horses. Can't they just feed themselves? Fine. I'll pay my tab and be there shortly. Now bugger off and bother someone else, Mazbeth.
Yes, sir.
Charlie stumbles back on stage a few moments later, muttering drunkenly to himself. Soon, the two boys from the beginning of the play walk on stage. Boy 1 shushes Boy 2 and sneaks up behind Charlie.
Boo!
Ah! Boy, you nearly stopped my heart there. Dead. What's wrong with you two, huh?
Ichabod Crane, Mr. Charlie. Yeah, he's bound to snatch you, he is.
Ah, bugger off with that name. Ichabod Crane. Pah! Little rat's been dead a year. Never mind those bloody sightings people have heard about him. Dead is dead, I say.
With that, Charlie continues his walk home, though a low whistling can be heard. Charlie perks his ears to listen for a moment, then he shrugs and continues. Slowly, ominously, out shambles a figure wearing a scarecrow mask, almost similar to the one stuffed onto Ichabod's head. We soon see, from the stab wounds and bloodstains on this figure's shirt, that is indeed who it is. Ichabod, wordlessly, soundlessly, shuffles towards the drunken Charlie, who is too inebriated to really see the danger. He soon turns and does a double take at Ichabod.
Hey, what's this, eh? One of you scalawag boys trying to prank old Charlie again? Hey, well, piss off before I strike you down. Sod off, I said. Oh, wanting to ignore me, eh? Well, wanting to try and fright old Charlie? Well, it's your funeral then, me boy.
Masbeth, meanwhile, walks back onto the stage, presumably to fetch Charlie again. He spots the going-on and, frightened, hides in the shadows. Ichabod, meanwhile, pulls out a small knife, the same one used to kill him. He holds it up for Charlie to see. Charlie makes a grab at Ichabod's mask and pulls it off, falling backwards onto his back. We can briefly see Ichabod's pale, sunken-in face. Ichabod nabs the mask and slowly puts it back on as he holds the knife up again. Charlie, in his state, hasn't seen Ichabod's face, but Masbeth has.
That's the mask Uncle Baltus said they found on him when they found his dead body. And that whittling knife, too.
Oh, is that supposed to frighten me? Look, I know it's you, Brom Bones. You might be a strong lad, but you'll find I'm much stronger, especially when I'm angry. And I'm angry. Go on, do your worst, if you dare.
Ichabod closes in on Charlie, who goes to bat the knife away, but Ichabod is too fast, too strong. He grabs Charlie in a choke with one hand around his throat.
What are you doing? Let go! Let go!
Ichabod stabs into Charlie's stomach once, then twice. Charlie collapses to the ground as Ichabod stabs him once more. Charlie twitches for a moment, then is stone still, dead. Ichabod slowly stands up and wipes the blade, then, almost sensing someone else on stage, slowly turns around to face Masbeth. Masbeth is quaking in his boots as Ichabod slowly points at him. Masbeth pulls out a small wooden cross from around his neck and holds it up with a shaky hand towards Ichabod.
No. No. Stay away. Stay away. Don't come any further. I'm warning you. I won't tell. I won't. I didn't see nothing, I swear. Ichabod, please. Uncle Baltus, help!
Masbeth runs off, blackout. After a set change, the lights fade back on to the Van Tassel residence. Baltus and Katrina are standing center stage. Baltus takes out a pocket watch, looks at the time, then tisks softly.
Tisk. Where on earth is that blasted Charlie? And your cousin, too. I told that boy to fetch Charlie straight away.
I'm sure they'll be here any moment, Father.
They better. Masbeth's father gave me permission to whoop him with a belt if he misbehaves. And dawdling like this is certainly grounds for it.
Oh, Father, be reasonable.
Masbeth comes stumbling onto the stage, frightened and out of breath.
You see? There he is, safe and sound.
Oh, Uncle Baltus! Uncle Baltus, help! Help!
Masbeth, calm down. Don't get excited. Now take a deep breath and tell me what's wrong.
It was Ichabod Crane, sir. I saw him.
Now, Masbeth, are you sure? That Crane boy has been dead for a year now.
It's true. I saw him. He was wearing a scarecrow's mask, but it was him all right. He stabbed Mr. Charlie. He killed him, he did. I'd never seen a dead man before, but I did tonight. Mr. Charlie got murdered by Ichabod's ghost.
Masbeth, I don't like this sort of talk. Did Brom Bones put you up to it? You know how I miss Ichabod. This sort of joke isn't ringing well with me. I love you, dearest cousin, but I won't hesitate to have you on my bad side like Brom is.
Oh, Cousin Katrina, I swear on my life it's not a fib. Please don't be upset at me.
What's going on, Mr. Van Tassel? I've heard some commotion.
Never mind, Brom. It's just a discussion between family.
Yes, so please go away if you don't mind.
Oh, Brom, tell them both. Tell them you didn't put me up to any tricks or fibs.
Huh?
I saw Ichabod Crane. He murdered Mr. Charlie, stabbed him dead.
Murder? Masbeth, are you sure it wasn't just Mr. Charlie passing out drunk per usual?
Drunk men don't get stab wounds. That's what I saw.
Teaching my cousin to lie now, eh? You brute.
For heaven's sake, I've been home for hours now. I was having dinner with my parents. You can go ask them right now.
I think I shall. Masbeth, come with me. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Oh, Lord, have mercy. Help me, help me, help me.
My God, Lena, what's the matter? You're hysterical.
Breathe, Lena, breathe. Tell us what's wrong.
Someone hold her before she faints.
I have you, Lena. Just be calm. Fall into my arms if you need to.
Lena, dear, control yourself. What on the earth is the matter? Is it something you saw? Did someone hurt you or try to? Please tell us what's going on.
I saw.
Oh, for goodness sake, what did you see, you hysterical, shrieking Violet? What?
Mr. Charlie is dead. He's dead, dead, dead. Someone stabbed him. I saw his body on the ground, just past the clearing. He was murdered.
Puffed gasps and murmurs as the lights go to complete black, and we end Act 1. Hi, folks. We recorded the show on the 23rd. I'm recording this on the 24th of October. Due to circumstances beyond our control, the intermission audio was a little bit messy, so I'm just going to re-record here privately. Get ready for Vagabond Digital's 2021 season. We have a whole bunch of shows in store for you. Coming in about April or May of 2021, we have The Little Mermaid, which is going to star Shannon Shipp as Ariel and Matthew Lamb as Flounder. We also have coming on the docket Wait Until Dark. We have the stay home version of Clue. We also have Anastasia coming in the fall. And we have Scene Showcases 3 and 4 ready to go as well. There will be other shows announced as the time comes. Also, depending on the circumstances of theater openings, we will see if we'll be able to get back on stage or if we will be staying digital for the 2021 season. Well, that's about it for now. Here is Act 2 of Ichabod's Ghost. The lights slowly fade back on. Everyone is in the same position as when Act 1 ended. Atticus steps over to Lena, his voice a calm but serious tone to it.
Young lady, are you certain that was what you saw?
He's over there. He's in the bushes. Go and check. I swear on it.
Go and take a look and come back as quickly as you can.
Oh, good heavens! A murder!
This is horrible!
Oh, Constable, please get to the bottom of this.
Constable, are we safe right now? Could the murderer be among us?
Oh, murderer! Oh, no!
All right. I'm in charge here. Everyone relax. Don't get excited. Did you find him?
We did. Dead as a doornail. Stabbed in the stomach and the chest.
Oh, no.
Quiet! No one here better leave town. We have some questioning to do. Don't go too far or you'll be considered a main suspect.
I say we start with him.
Me?
You. I'm inclined to agree. You were the one, I believe, who was dressing as Ichabod Crane. You're just crazy enough to murder as well.
No!
No, indeed. I'm no murderer or prankster. Constable, you have to believe me. Katrina, I know you may not like me right now. I know right now you despise me. But I swear on my life, on the life of my parents, I did not kill Charlie. Nor have I dressed up as Ichabod, nor have I told your cousin a lie about it. Katrina, please, of all the people here, I thought you were the most level-headed and sensible.
I think you may have been mistaken.
Damn you. Damn you, you hen.
Atticus, well, I don't quite appreciate my daughter being called a hen. Brom Bones is innocent. I was at his residence to talk business with his father. Brom was at his table for dinner the whole time. He couldn't have gone out and done such a thing as murder. Believe me, he has an alibi.
Murmurs of relief from the crowd. Katrina turns back to Brom, a mix of surprise, relief, and even a bit of guilt. Brom, satisfied, nods to her, then turns away.
He didn't do it. And see, Lena and I weren't fibbing.
No, you weren't, lad.
I'm sorry for even accusing you of it, Masbeth, my dear.
All is forgiven.
Very well. I suppose then you're free to go, Mr. Bones. But the rest of you lot, go right to your homes, and no one, I mean no one, better leave them or town. I shall be by to question people house by house.
With that, Atticus storms off, followed by Mordecai. Townspeople, frightened and exhausted, filter off bit by bit as Baltus, Masbeth, Katrina, Brom, and the three girls remain.
Uncle, with your and Lena's permission, may I escort her home? It's only a few doors down from us.
You have 5 minutes, lad. Escort Lena to her door and come right back here. Beth, Susie, have Brom escort the two to your homes as well. Both of you young ladies, make sure you go right inside when you get to your doors.
That won't be necessary, Mr. Van Tassel. We live fairly close as well.
Yes, there's still enough people outside that we can manage.
Well, if you're sure, but I suggest you hurry on home now. Be careful, girls.
Yes, sir.
You're very sweet for doing this, Masbeth. Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Perhaps I could be your Ichabod Crane, Miss Lena? What do you say?
I'm afraid not, sweetie. Perhaps maybe in a few years' time, but not quite now. Though you're awfully brave to ask. And cute, too.
It was worth a try, but I shall respect your wishes.
Off they go. Baltus has also since gone off, and now only Brom and Katrina are left on stage.
Well,
Well, what?
I believe you owe me an apology.
Excuse me?
You were ready to have me take the fall for this murder. But you saw it. I was proven innocent. By your father, of all people. So, my apology, please.
I suppose I'm sorry.
Suppose? I was proven innocent and was right the whole time, and you give me a suppose?
Be grateful I'm giving you even that.
Katrina Van Tassel, that does it. I want an answer from you, and I want it now. Why? Why must you always be so cold to me? For the last few years you've been this way. I've done nothing but admire and love you. Why? I know your hatred of me because of what happened to Ichabod, but it's been like this longer than that.
Why? You want to know why? Let me tell you a story, Brom. Once upon a time, I did think the world of you. I had a crush on you, in fact. But that changed over time. Think back. Think back a few years ago. The Harvest Ball. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it's the autumn dance the town holds every year. What of it?
Do you remember when I asked you to the ball? To be my date? And you told me you'd love to?
I do. I remember it quite well.
Slowly, a spotlight shines on the other side of the stage. A younger Katrina steps out, obviously a flashback. She looks happily excited at someone off stage, presumably a younger Brom Bones.
Oh dear, sweet Brom, I can't wait for the harvest ball. I shall wear my nicest dress for you, and I'll practice my dancing too, so we can waltz together. Oh, we'll have so much fun. Until then, toodaloo! Mwah.
I begged my father to let me wear the great dress my mother made for special occasions for me. Pleaded. He finally relented, and I remember putting it on with glee that night. Then going to the ball, and waiting by the doorway for you to arrive.
In the flashback, younger Katrina is seen waiting patiently on the other side of the stage. She waits and waits and waits.
But much to my shock and horror, you never showed up. You stood me up. I was embarrassed, mortified. I told the other girls you were my date, and we were going to dance all night together. But you didn't show so much as a foot through the door.
I got scared. I had no proper suit to wear, and all the other boys made fun of me, calling me a sissy for liking some snobby rich girl. I was guilted into staying home. I didn't want to look foolish and prissy in front of the other boys.
That's always been your problem, Brom. You let others dictate what you should do. You never could be your own man.
Younger Katrina, meanwhile, puts her hands to her face in a silent sob.
I stood there and cried and cried. No one seemed to care or even notice until suddenly Ichabod showed up.
Slowly, a younger Ichabod walks onto the stage and the flashback. He is wearing a rather cheap-looking but respectable suit. He gently approaches younger Katrina and taps her shoulder.
Katrina? Who is it? Ichabod? Katrina, please don't cry.
He gently places a small pink rose in her hair.
Here, I got this for you. I know pink is your favorite color. I heard Brom Bones is not shown. I'm awfully sorry. He's a big fool to stand up a girl as pretty as you. If you'd like, I'll dance with you and keep you company all night. If it'll put a smile on your face and keep you from being upset.
You will?
With your permission, of course.
Yes. Yes, you may.
He gently offers her his hand. She smiles and takes it, and they begin to dance together.
Ichabod may not have had the best suit, and he was a bit clumsy at dancing, but at least he had the kindness in his heart to comfort me and dance with me, even if he was getting whispers and laughs from the other boys and girls there. That, my dear Brom, is what made my flame for you go out and ignite for Ichabod.
Katrina watches with a silent, adoring smile as her younger self and young Ichabod waltz. Indeed, young Ichabod isn't the most graceful on the floor, but he is trying his hardest. He steps on young Katrina's feet a few times, each step getting a wince from young Katrina.
I'm sorry. I'm not a very good dancer. Mother promised she'd help me learn to waltz, but there was just no time.
Steps on her foot again. She winces once more.
Oh, drat. I've gone and done it again.
It's okay. My father made me wear extra thick dancing shoes, so it's not so bad. Besides, to me, you're doing fine.
I am?
You are. Truth be told, I don't care if you were a champion waltzer or the worst dancer ever. The fact that you even wanted to dance with me makes me so happy.
Meanwhile, Ichabod, the older version, walks silently over to Katrina. He stands just off to the side of Katrina, who smiles, seemingly aware of his presence without looking at him.
You have no idea how much those words made my heart flutter that night.
I meant every single one of them.
Truth be told, I thought when I asked you to dance, you were going to laugh at me right out of the ballroom, or go to your other rich friends and gossip.
Never in a million years. I know you weren't as popular as Brom. The boys often teased and bullied you. But even though I had a crush on Brom a moment in my younger days, the girls and I always thought you to be a gentleman and awfully cute.
As I thought you beautiful.
Brom, meanwhile, watches all this in a stunned, guilty silence. We can hear the titterings and giggles of what we presume are Katrina's friends from off stage. Young Ichabod begins to waver a bit.
They're all laughing at me. My horrible dancing. Oh, goodness. I'm so embarrassed. Katrina, I'm sorry. Maybe I should let one of the other boys dance with you. I don't want you to be made fun of as well.
Do no such thing. I only wish to dance with you.
Me?
I'd rather jump into a dirty pond than dance with those other boorish, horrible, rude boys.
Oh, gosh.
Goodness, how lucky could a boy be to have fallen for a beautiful, delicate, wonderful girl such as you? If only things had been different. Believe me when I tell you I would have worked hard to make your life perfect. I would have earned money through hard work and dedication. I wouldn't have asked your father for a thing. I wanted to provide for you. When we eventually started a family together, it might have taken some time, but I would have made sure that you and whatever future your children may have had would be happy.
I know.
The waltz finally ends. Young Ichabod bows to young Katrina, who smiles and curtsies. Soon she can't help herself. She wordlessly hugs Ichabod, who, surprised but also delighted, hugs her back.
Ichabod Crane, I shall love you to the day I die.
As I shall love you, Katrina Van Tassel.
She gives him a lingering kiss on the cheek, then the two smile, link hands, laugh happily, and race off stage. Ichabod, meanwhile, takes Katrina's hand in his, kisses it gently, then backs off into the darkness as Katrina watches him go. She holds a hand out for him, almost as if silently trying to call him back, but he is gone. Katrina soon turns to Brom.
Just to put the icing on the cake, you didn't even bother to check on me after the ball, or even seem that concerned that Ichabod won my heart over, if you truly wanted my affections back. I would assume you'd want to fight for it, but no, you didn't seem to care at all that much. So, you wanted your reason? There, you have your reason. Now, if you'll excuse me, good night, Brom.
Good night.
Katrina slowly begins to walk off stage as Brom lowers his head a bit.
I'm sorry.
Did you say something?
I'm sorry, Katrina. I was a scared, stupid, immature boy. I loved you with all my being, but I let others dictate how I acted. I should have known better. Ichabod wasn't as popular or savvy as I was. He was a bit awkward looking too, but he was always a romantic. He was braver than I ever could be too. He didn't care what anyone thought of him. He loved you, and he showed it. I didn't. And so for that, I'm sorry.
You're forgiven.
Thank you.
You've always tried to deny that you ever were at fault, but I'm just glad to hear you finally taking this responsibility. It's part of what I wished for you to do for the last few years. Thank you, Brom.
A long silent pause. Brom, lost in the moment, slowly leans in to kiss Katrina. She moves back gently, shakes her head no, but she's not mean about it. She gently curtsies to him.
Good night, dear Brom.
Good night. I let that beautiful goddess get away, all because I was such a foolish little coward. Who am I kidding? Ichabod deserved her more than me.
Off he goes. The lights dim on stage, and when they come back on, Mordecai is seen walking on. He looks around momentarily, then spots a drunken man stumbling onto the stage. He grins and sidles up to the man, then proceeds to steady him as he almost falls.
Whoa, whoa, I've got you, sir. Easy does it now.
Thank you. Must have had too much to drink. Better go home to my wife now. Good night.
Good night. Sleep it off, my fellow.
He grins and holds up a wallet for the audience to see. He opens it up and peruses the contents. Much to his dismay, though, there's only 2 crumpled bills within the wallet.
Not even a $5, bloody drunks.
He tosses the wallet off stage. Soon, though, the familiar whistling of Ichabod is heard. Mordecai whirls around at the noise, a lot more ready than Charlie was.
I hear you, I hear you. Show yourself. I know someone's there.
An owl hoots overhead, and footsteps can be heard as Mordecai pulls out a small pistol. He aims it wildly around stage.
I don't care who it is, man, woman, or child. I'll shoot dead anyone who tries to get at me.
Slowly, Ichabod Crane shuffles on stage. Almost mockingly, he holds up the wallet that Mordecai threw. He tosses it back to Mordecai, who frowns and points the pistol at Ichabod.
Brom Bones, if that's you, prepare to join the Crane Kid. Die!
Mordecai fires out 3 shots at Ichabod. Each one strike him in the chest, though Ichabod does not so much as flinch. He looks down at his chest, then back up at Mordecai, then slowly wags his finger no. Mordecai is stunned. He goes to shoot again, but his gun clicks empty, out of bullets.
Bloody hell!
Ichabod steps closer towards Mordecai, who, for the first time, is starting to show some fear.
I shot you 3 times. How did you?
Ichabod brandishes his knife and gets even closer.
Get away. Get the hell away from me. No, no.
Ichabod trips Mordecai onto his back. With Mordecai's body obscured by scenery, Ichabod hovers over him, raises his knife up, and stabs down 3 times. Mordecai screams out each time, though his screams grow weaker and more gurgled with each stab. Slowly, Ichabod stands up and wipes his knife, then walks off stage. Soon, the lights go out on stage for a scenery transition. We soon are in the bedroom of Katrina Van Tassel, who lays asleep in her bed, a nightgown covering her. She sleeps soundly as the sound of dragging, shuffling feet can be heard by her window. Ominously, the sound gets closer and closer. However, we can't quite see the figure, just its hand, as it taps on the window a few times gently.
Katrina. Katrina.
Who's that? Is someone there?
Katrina. Let me in. Please. I'm so cold.
Brom, is that you? Are you all right? Lena? Susie? Beth?
The voice fades away into nothing. Katrina cocks her ear to listen. After several moments, she slowly turns back around, only for the tapping to be heard again at her window.
I know someone is there. Who is it? Answer me, please.
Katrina, listen to me.
I hear you. Whoever you are, tell me what you want.
Katrina, let me.
The window breaks and a hand reaches in and grabs at Katrina, attempting to drag her out into the night. Katrina screams in horror as she struggles to get loose. She screams several times as Baltus, in his own nightshirt and pants, storms onto the stage. The hand lets go of Katrina and is gone.
Katrina! My God! What was that? I heard your scream. And glass breaking.
Father! Someone grabbed me, tried to drag me outside. I heard a voice calling for me, and then, oh heavens, I'm scared, Father. Someone tried to take me out into the night.
Who's out there? Who did this? Who tried to take my beloved daughter? Show yourself! I'm going to the constable now, Katrina. Go to the servants' quarter and sleep there for tonight. Make sure someone watches you at all times.
Father!
Do as I say.
Katrina nods and heads off as we black out for another scene transition. When we light back up, Atticus comes walking on, speaking to 2 of his deputies. They are in mid-discussion as they come on.
Don't toy with me, you lot. You say he was found this morning.
Aye, sir. 3 stab wounds. He'd been dead for at least a couple of hours, by my guess.
Bloody hell. Mordecai dead? Just like Charlie?
Sir?
This is going too far. Soon it'll come for me. I'm the only one left.
Sir?
Never mind. It's time for Plan B.
Plan B?
Yes. Remember what we spoke about? Well, go and fetch it, will you, lads?
Aye, sir. The deputies head off as Baltus, Rom, Masbeth, Katrina, and the 3 girls head on, with other townspeople milling about.
Constable, there you are.
Constable, was there any movement on last night? Did your men find the person who tried to kidnap me?
Gosh, I hope they did.
We have a situation on our hands, Baltus.
More important than my daughter's well-being?
How shocking. Constable not caring a lick.
Be quiet, you little swine. It was discovered last night there was another murder.
Another one?
Oh, goodness me!
Who was it, sir?
Mordecai Barrows.
The thief?
Indeed.
As if anyone will miss him.
Now, Brom, show a bit of sympathy. He may not have been an upstanding citizen, but life is life.
Never fear, though, Baltus. It just so happens I've got the man responsible for these 2 murders.
You did?
You did?
Aye, that I did.
Well, for heaven's sakes, man, who was it?
It was none other than Mad George.
Mad George? You mean that drooling, glittering village idiot? It was him?
Constable, are you sure about this?
Well, Miss Van Tassel, considering that I'm a constable and all, I'm almost certain I'm right. I know the female brain can't comprehend that sort of work, but believe me, I know what's going on.
How dare you?
Bring him in, lads.
Slowly, 2 deputies lead in George, once again unkempt and babbling to himself, also trying to pry loose. The crowd gathered on stage murmur with pity and disgust as Katrina goes to Brom.
It can't be. Could it?
George never hurt anybody. Something is amiss here.
George, meanwhile, makes a lunge at some of the people gathered, who scream in fright, though he is kept at bay.
Hold him steady, lads. Now, ladies and gentlemen, don't be alarmed. My men and I have him under control. George, look at me. Now, George, tell Mr. Van Tassel what you told me.
Huh?
Remember, George? Remember when you said you were the murderer? Not to mention you tried to kidnap dear little Katrina? You remember, right?
Yeah. Yeah, George said that. Yes, he killed Mr. Charlie and Mr. Mordecai.
And you tried to kidnap Katrina.
He did no such thing. He was nowhere near my window that night. That voice wasn't his. I know George's voice anywhere.
Quiet. Let the accused speak.
George tried to kidnap Pretty Lady, yes. He broke Pretty Lady's window and tried to snatch her. But George is sorry. Sorry, Constable.
It can't be. George, is it true? Please say it's not.
Mazbeth, hush.
Oh, for shame, George. For shame. You killed 2 men. They may not have been perfect men, but they were human beings nonetheless. And trying to kidnap a young girl? How could you?
Indeed, Constable. This was some fine work from you. I shall see you rewarded for this. Have your men take him away, throw him in a cell. George, not only did you murder one of my finest workers, a man I knew for almost 20 years, but you tried to do harm to my sweet, innocent daughter. I don't care if you're a feeble-minded dolt who people claim doesn't know any better. I'll see you hanged for this.
What?
Hanged?
No!
Yes, he's lucky I don't have him drawn and quartered right here in the street. Now go on, take him away.
No, hang George. Constable promised George no hanging if I said what I said. That Mr. Van Tassel wouldn't be mean to George.
No more lies now, George. Start craving mad he is. But then again, that's why he's called Mad George.
No, please, no.
Gosh, so it was Mad George. And to think he was around all of us every day.
Gracious me. He could have murdered any one of us. How horrible.
This has to be a lie. George is a sweet, gentle man. He has his quirks, but he's not a killer.
Absolutely. George is being framed. I just know it. We have to do something about this.
But what, though?
I have an idea. Katrina, Mazbeth, meet me outside after dark. We're going to go to the cells to talk to George. Girls, please swear you'll keep this quiet.
Well...
Trina, please don't put us in such a position.
We're not good liars anyway. None of us are.
For me, girls?
Okay, Katrina. For you, we will.
Bless your hearts. Okay, after curfew it is. Come, Masbeth.
Nighttime, near the outside cell of the jail. Crickets and other wildlife can be heard outside as slowly Brom, Katrina, and Masbeth sneak on stage and towards the cell, where George sleeps, snoring as he does.
There he is.
Poor George. That nasty old constable has him out in the cold like this. Bad enough they want to hang him.
It makes me want to cry, seeing him like this. Oh goodness, I hope we can clear his name, and soon.
We all do, Katrina. We all do. Psst. Psst. George? George?
Huh?
Wake up.
Who's that? Who's waking up George?
George, it's Brom Bones and Masbeth.
Huh? Oh, friend Brom and young friend Masbeth. Hello.
Hello, George.
George, we want to talk to you. None of this is adding up to me, or Masbeth, and Katrina. We know you're an odd fellow, but you're no murderer. We intend to prove it as well.
George, darling, it's Katrina Van Tassel. George, I want you to be honest with me. You'll be honest, yes?
Uh-huh.
You never lie to little old me, would you? Pretty lady? Now, Constable Atticus has everyone convinced that you murdered Charlie and Mordecai, and that it was you who crept up to my window a night ago and broke it, then tried to drag me outside. But I know you, George. You never hurt so much as a fly since Brom and I were babies. That mean constable and his men always harass you. But you never hit them first. Never were aggressive towards them except to defend yourself. And I know, in your heart, you never hurt me either.
Oh, George would never hurt Pretty Lady. Pretty Lady is always nice to George. Pretty Lady protects me from the mean constable.
And I always will.
George, think hard. As hard as you can. What did Constable Atticus say to you? How did he phrase it? About you taking the blame for this? Did he coerce you into doing it?
No, I won't tell. Constable said he'll get mad at George if he tells. He'll make me rot in prison and hang, he will.
You tell what, George?
Yes, what did Constable Atticus say?
Be brave, George dear. You can tell us. We're your friends.
George looks down nervously, but Katrina gently lifts his chin up with her hand.
Please, George. Please.
Well, Constable, he says that he wanted George to say he did it, so Mr. Van Tassel would reward him. That it'll stop the ghost stories from happening. That people will stop thinking friend Ichabod is the one who done killed Mr. Charlie and Mr. Mordecai. That friend Ichabod came back from the bad place and is spooking around to get revenge on the bad men who did him in.
I knew it was Ichabod. I told you I wasn't lying.
That settles it. Come on, Katrina. Let's get you to your father and demand George's release. Now maybe they'll believe that Ichabod's ghost is the one doing all of this.
Indeed. Oh, George, you are wonderful. Never fear. You'll be out of here very soon. You have our word. Come on, Brom, Masbeth. Let's hurry now.
That the three kids hurry off. Meanwhile, ominously, a figure slowly shambles on stage. It's Ichabod. He walks towards George's cell as George, petrified, backs away. Friend Ichabod? Please don't hurt George. George always liked friend Ichabod. He thought you and Pretty Lady should be together, please. Slowly, Ichabod stares at George. Then, with almost supernatural strength, he wrenches the cell door open and points to the other side of the stage. George is awed, and he slowly nods his head. You're rescuing George? Freeing me? Oh, thank you. Thank you, friend Ichabod. I hope that constable gets what he deserves. You were a great friend to George. George hurries off stage as Ichabod watches him, then walks off in a different direction. Meanwhile, Mazbeth, Brom, and Katrina come back on stage as Mazbeth has paused to catch his breath.
Can we please stop a minute? I'm not used to running this much.
Come on, Mazbeth. We're all out of breath, but we need to hurry.
Oh, trust me, there's no hurrying to be done right now. My orders.
Kids gasp as Atticus slowly, menacingly strolls on stage. He grabs at Katrina, who screams. Brom goes to pry her loose, but Atticus backhands him away. Mazbeth tries to come to his cousin's aid, but Atticus pulls out a pistol and points it to Katrina's temple.
No! Let me go! Let me go!
You two lads back up. Nice and slow. You come towards me, I blow her pretty head away.
Help! Help! Constable Atticus has gone mad!
Scream all you want, no one's gonna help you.
George, meanwhile, stumbles on stage as Atticus spots him.
Well, look at this.
George!
Pretty lady? You leave Pretty Lady alone! Don't hurt her, mean old constable!
This is all too perfect. I can take you somewhere quiet, kill you, and say George broke out and did it.
You heartless, vicious monster!
Any of you lot follows me, I'll kill you too.
Brom, what are we gonna do?
George, go find Mr. Van Tassel. Tell him Pretty Lady is in trouble. That we need someone, anyone to stop the constable.
Yes, friend Brom.
Come on, little man. We need to follow the constable. We can't let him hurt Katrina.
The two boys hurry off stage. Meanwhile, Baltus, Lena, Susie, and Beth hurry on stage. The girls are in the middle of explaining something to Baltus.
So that's why my daughter's bed is empty, and my nephew's. They snuck out with Brom Bones to talk to George, that blithering fool.
Forgive us for not telling you, sir, but we were sworn to secrecy.
But we were all too guilty, and we wanted to make sure nothing happened to them.
Wait till Mazbeth and Katrina get back here. I shall ground them until they're adults.
Mr. Van Tassel, help George, help him!
It's not George! Mr. Van Tassel, save us!
Get behind me, girls. George, don't come any closer. Let these girls go off. You can come at me if you wish. But if you do, I'll be forced to shoot you.
Oh, sir, please. Pretty Lady is in danger. Constable, mean old constable, he's going to hurt Pretty Lady. Friend Mazbeth and friend Brom are trying to save her. Help, Pretty Lady.
Pretty Lady?
Calls Katrina that a lot.
That means she's in trouble.
Did he say Constable Atticus had her and was going to hurt her?
George, lead us to them. And if you're making up a story, I'll make sure you pay for this.
They all hurry off. On another side of the stage, Atticus shoves a protesting and petrified Katrina on, as Brom and Mazbeth follow close behind.
Get on there, you little wench.
Constable, please, stop this madness.
Let my cousin go, sir, I beg of you.
Nothing doing. You think I'm dumb? Naive? You'll all just watch with glee as Ichabod Crane kills me like he did Charlie and Mordecai. Well, if I'm going to leave this plane, I'm taking some of you with me.
Take me if you want. Leave Mazbeth and Katrina be. Just kill me.
Oh, believe me, after I do away with her, you're next on my list. Bloody bastard that you are, you nearly ruined our plans.
What plans, you crazy fool? To kill Ichabod? Why, sir? Why did you three do it? There's no way things went off the rails that badly that you had to kill him when all you were told to do was scare him. Why?
I suppose I can let the cat out of the bag, seeing as how you'll all be dead within minutes after I reveal it. Can't have any witnesses after all.
He slowly shoves Katrina into Brom's arms, but keeps his pistol trained on all three kids as he speaks.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but Mordecai, Charlie, and we never really liked that Crane boy, or his family for that matter. We all had our reasons for it. But we had a common theme of hatred. For me, I never appreciated the fact that Ichabod Crane constantly meddled in my dealings. You see, I didn't become a wealthy man and in a position of power by hard work and the sweat of my brow. No, you see, money, my little friends, is what makes the world go round. And I gently persuaded some of the richer men in town, your father included, Katrina, to line my pockets in exchange for extra protection for them.
Bribery.
Smart lad. But that Crane boy, he ratted on me quite a few times to some of the town's elders. He'd spy me doing my dealings, and he'd tattle. I could have lost my job if it wasn't for some of my backers.
Ichabod always did have a sense of what was right and wrong, unlike you.
Quiet! Now, as for Mordecai and Charlie, that day we were walking to find Crane and Katrina, and as we sent you ahead, Brom, we had ourselves a little discussion.
Slowly, Mordecai and Charlie step back on stage and they both look towards Atticus.
Oh, that bloody Crane boy. Bad enough he's getting handsy with Miss Katrina. That bloody father of his. 6 years ago, he cost me a job at a factory at the center of town. Sure, I make good money with Mr. Van Tassel, but I could have been making more if it weren't for that Crane's father telling the foreman I drink all the time. And what hypocrisy, considering he drinks too. I'd love to stick it to that family, right where it hurts the most.
Bah! Ichabod Crane got me arrested. Ruined my life, he did. When he was a little runt, he spotted me and two of my other mates stealing a ship of gold coins from a ship. He ratted on us, and we were thrown in the clink. I lost everything. My wife ran off with another man. I lost my house, my money, everything. I'd love to stick it to him too.
Gentlemen, I think we might be onto something here.
Mordecai and Charlie vanish off stage as Atticus goes back to looking at the kids.
So you three were just petty, horrid, murderous fiends then? You wanted revenge on a boy, you disgusting worms.
I may be a disgusting worm, but at least I'll be a disgusting worm rid of the lot of you.
Ichabod!
Oh, thank goodness he's here!
Crane? Damn you, Crane, where are you? Show yourself before I kill your beloved Katrina and her cousin and her friend.
He shoots his pistol wildly on stage, once, then twice. Brom, Katrina, and Masbeth scramble for cover as Atticus continues to hear the whistling and grows more frantic.
I won't ask again. Show yourself. Now, damn you!
He's gone mad. I think he's cracking under the pressure.
Stop it! Stop whistling and show yourself! What do you want from me? A confession? Fine, yes, I did it! Charlie, Mordecai, and I did it! We killed Ichabod Crane, and we'd do it again if we could! There! Are you satisfied?
Slowly, Ichabod comes up from behind Atticus and places a hand on his shoulder. Atticus lets out a scared bellow and whirs around to face him.
Ah!
His shaky hand attempts to fire his pistol, but a mere grab of the wrist allows Ichabod to divert the path of the shot into Atticus's stomach. Katrina screams in fright as Atticus drops his pistol, groans, clutches his stomach, and collapses to the ground, dead.
Holy smokes!
Bloody hell. He got him. He really got him.
Ichabod looks to Brom and begins to advance on him.
What? What's he doing? Is he going towards me?
Ichabod?
But it's over, isn't it? He got all of his killers.
I think because I couldn't stop it, he might be going for me. Ichabod, wait!
Ichabod pulls out his knife and begins to slash wildly at Brom, who holds up his hands in defense as Mazbeth and Katrina scream. Brom manages to finally swat Ichabod backwards, though he is now cut and bleeding from his hands and cheeks.
Ichabod, stop. I'm your friend. I was always your friend. I'm sorry I couldn't stop them, but I didn't want you to die. Stop.
Mazbeth and Katrina, who are shielded by a bleeding but still standing Brom, cower a bit as Ichabod slowly shuffles towards them. Suddenly, Katrina can take no more, and she moves past Brom and towards Ichabod.
Katrina, get away from him.
Katrina, stop!
Ichabod, my love, please, it's me. Katrina, I loved you. You loved me. I know you're a restless spirit, and the way you were killed, it's unfair. It broke my heart completely. But it's over now. Constable Atticus and Mordecai and Charlie, they're gone now. And Brom didn't do anything to you. He's innocent. Please.
Katrina, he's not the Ichabod you knew. Get away from him.
Please, Ichabod. My sweet, dear, handsome prince. Please. For me. Stop. You can rest now.
A long pause. Ichabod's hand, in which he holds his knife, slowly trembles. He drops the knife and then shakily goes to Katrina, taking her hands in his. He slowly falls to his knees as Katrina does the same.
Oh, thank goodness.
I knew some of the old Ichabod was still left. Some human part of him.
Ichabod, thank you. Thank you for seeing reason.
Impulsively, she slowly removes his scarecrow mask, revealing his pale face underneath.
Oh, Ichabod.
Rita.
Yes, darling. Yes. It's fine now. It's over. It's all over. Your murderers are gone now. Gone forever. You can be at peace now and go beyond this plane.
No.
You must, Ichabod. You must.
I'm scared to go alone. Please come with me.
I can't do that, Ichabod.
Why?
It's not my time yet. I belong here, with my family and friends. I love you, Ichabod, but I must stay here.
I understand.
But we'll see each other again someday. We will. I promise. And I'll love you then as much as I love you now. I vow it.
Promise?
Promise.
I truly wanted to marry you.
As much as I wanted to marry you.
And why did you want to marry a boy like me?
So that I could have called you my beloved husband. And so I could have kissed you anytime I wanted.
Slowly, gently, the two lean in and kiss. Soon, the stage is bathed in a white light, and as it slowly fades to black, then fades back up, Ichabod is gone. Katrina's eyes flutter open and she sighs, backing up a few steps.
Goodbye, Ichabod.
She slowly feels in her hair. It's a pink rose. Happy tears flood her face as she smells it once, then smiles and places it back in her hair.
There they are! I see them!
Katrina! Brom, Lisbeth!
I hope everyone is okay!
Katrina, my love! Thank God you're okay.
Father!
Where's the constable?
Dead. Dead as a stone.
He tried to kill us all, but Ichabod stopped him.
It's true, sir. He saved us.
Father, is George okay?
He's fine, love. He's with the deputies, with a full pardon, of course. I can't believe I was foolish enough to believe that blasted constable. He was always a loose cannon, but trying to kill my daughter and nephew? And a fine lad like Brom? Only proves he was mad as a hatter.
Masbeth, are you okay?
Never mind me. Are you okay? If anyone hurt you, I'll knock their block right off.
Bloody heartbreaker. I'm telling you.
The constable of the next town is coming here as we speak to clean this mess up. He should be here in about half an hour. We'll need to wait for his arrival until then. Come on, you kids. We need to get you out of the cold and to safety.
Give us a moment, will you, Father dear?
Ooh.
Hush. Shh. Girls, hush.
Anything you say, lovebirds.
They'll giggle and go off as Masbeth and Baltus also exit.
What's wrong, Katrina?
Brom, I don't know what to say other than thank you. Thank you for stopping Constable Atticus from hurting me. Or even worse.
It was nothing, believe me. You were the one who broke this wide open.
Brom, forgive me for being so cold to you these last few years, especially over Ichabod. I was a fool. You tried to help him, but it was too many brutes against you. I know your heart was in the right place.
Indeed it was. Katrina, I'll always love you, no matter what. But I'm fine with us being dear friends. I know, even away from this plane, Ichabod Crane has your heart, and always will.
That he does. But you're a close second, Brom. Thank you.
With that, Katrina gently pecks Brom on the cheek, then backs away a few steps and smiles.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, pretty lady.
Katrina puts a hand to her mouth, giggles, and slowly goes off as Brom watches her. Soon, we hear the sound of whistling once more. Brom looks behind him as Ichabod slowly comes on stage, whistling as he does. He locks eyes with Brom, then slowly tips his hat to him with a smile.
Mr. Crane, happy trails.
Indeed.
With that, Ichabod continues to whistle and walk off stage as Brom watches him go, and the lights slowly fade to black. The end. Oh, yeah! Great job, everybody!
Oh, that was fantastic.
Yes.
Dane,
Everyone.
I'm sure Dane thought I was going to say that it was terrible, but no, it was fantastic.
You did a good job.
We
Really
all
good,
did a
guys.
very
Well
good
done.
No, you guys were amazing.
Yeah.
That
I feel so
was
bad. Halfway through, my computer might cut off, and I had to switch to my phone.
Hey,
will.
did anybody notice? Probably not, because we were pretty good at covering it up.
Yeah.
That's
and
true. Good
you know
improv.
what?
Good
You know
improv,
what?
too.
Considering we're in the, I'm sorry.
Yeah, come on. I'm not talking to myself, am I? All right.
Sometimes.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Join us in November for the continued adventures of young Sherlock Holmes and Watson, and in December for our American Tale reading. For now, though, this is Dave Borgione for the entire cast. Thank you all for watching and have a good night.